Alright, we're still working on operations with fractions, and we're multiplying fractions right now. Alright, if you look at our note for adding and subtracting fractions, it said get a common denominator first. Now when you multiply fractions and divide them, no need for a common denominator. No need for common denominator. Okay? Because it's so much simpler than adding and subtracting fractions. For instance, when we multiply fractions, we just multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So if I want to multiply, for instance, 3/4 times 2/5, all I'm doing is multiplying the top. 3 times 2 is 6, and the bottom, 4 times 5 is 20. But I do have to be careful about one thing. We almost always want to put our answer in simplest form. And because 2 goes into both of these, I'm going to simplify it by dividing 2 out of each one. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 20 divided by 2 is 10. I'm done because 3 and 10 have no common factors. Nothing goes into both of them. Let's try another example. Let's try a negative and a positive. Let's do negative 10 twelfths. No, let's make it 13ths. Times positive 7 eighths. Now all you have to do when dealing with the negative and positive integers is just remember your rules that we worked on in the first part of the lecture today. And that is that a negative times a positive, since they have two different signs, will be a negative. So I multiply the tops. Negative 10 times 7 is negative 70. 13 times 8, let's see, that's 80 plus 24, is that 104? I think I've got that right. Okay, now I'm not done though, because these two numbers, negative 70 and the 104, have a common factor. For sure 2. Let's divide 2 out of the top and the bottom. And I'm getting a little crowded here. I'm going to get 35 over, let's see, half of 104, that's 52. Really hard to see, so you'll just have to listen. I got 35 over 52. Now 35 and 52 don't have any common factors. I know this because the factors of 35 are 1, 5, 7, and 35, and none of those numbers go into 52. I'm also going to show you how to multiply fractions on your calculator, because I am going to encourage you, when it's a difficult problem, to use your calculator. If it's a simple one, try to do it by hand. So let's do the first one. 3/4, 3, fraction key. Remember, on my calculator it's ABC. Ask me about yours if you're not sure, or look at your calculator's cheat sheet or manual. 3/4 times and 2/5. 2, fraction key 5. Just hit enter, and if you have a great calculator like mine, it simplifies it right away to 3/10. Likewise, this problem with the negative, on my calculator I press the negative key first. It's right here, and then I enter the 10, press my fraction key, and then the 13, multiplied by 7, fraction key 8. And again, this calculator will simplify it right away. How nice. And I get negative 35 over 52. Alright, so again, fractions just multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom. Now dividing fractions is not too tough. It's the same idea, except for one thing. We turn the division into multiplication. Here's why. Let's take a look at this problem. Let's say let's do 3/4 divided by 1/3. Now in this case, I wish I could just divide across the top and divide across the bottom. I can divide the tops and get a nice number. 3 divided by 1 is 3. But when I divide the bottoms, 4 divided by 3, I get 1.33333333, which is not nice. This answer doesn't make any sense. 3 over 1.333 ... it's not a fraction. We want a fraction answer. Fractions can't have decimals in the numerator or the denominator. So when dividing straight across the top and straight across the bottom does not work, which is most of the time, what we do is we change the division to multiplication, and because we've changed the operation symbol, we make up for that by inverting or flipping upside down the second fraction. So here's that same problem done correctly. I never changed the first number, so 3/4. Now I'm changing divided by 2 times. Now since I changed the operation, I make up for that by inverting 1/3, by flipping it upside down. Alright, now I just follow my multiplication rules, which are to multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 1 is 4. The answer is 9/4. Now I can leave it as an improper fraction, where the top is bigger than the bottom, numerator is bigger than the denominator, or I can change it to a mixed number. 4 goes into 9 twice, 2 whole times. 2 times 4 is 8. So that leaves 1 left over out of 4. So these two answers are equivalent, and depending upon what you're working on, either one would be just fine. Now I'm going to show you how to divide fractions on your calculator. Let's do the first problem. 3/4, 3, fraction key 4, looks like that, divided by 1, fraction key 3, and I get my answer of 2 1/4, which is the answer we got. Now, if I wanted an improper fraction on this calculator, that yellow above my ABC key will change this to the 9/4 for me if I didn't know that, by going second and pressing the fraction key, and it will change my my mixed number to the improper fraction 9/4. So either answer again is just fine.